Do you know what really happens to your cat when you feed them wet food every single day? Most people think it's simple. Open the can, serve it. Healthier cat. But what's actually happening inside their body is a chain reaction most owners never see. It changes how their organs function, how their metabolism works, even how their brain responds to food over time. And one of these changes can quietly go in the wrong direction without any obvious warning signs. What starts happening might completely change the way you feed your cat forever. Here's what begins from day one. 1. Their body starts operating the way it was originally designed to. Have you ever wondered why your cat barely drinks water? Like, the bowl just sits there, full, untouched. It feels strange, right? But here's the part most people misunderstand. Your cat isn't supposed to drink much water. Not the way dogs do, not the way humans do. Cats evolved in dry, desert-like environments. Their ancestors survived by hunting prey, not by searching for water, which means their bodies adapted in a very specific way. They get hydration from food, not from drinking. That's why their thirst drive is naturally weak. It's not a flaw, it's design. But here's where the problem begins. Most house cats eat dry kibble, which contains around 10% moisture. That's extremely low. Compare that to wet food, which sits between 70% and 80%. That's almost identical to real prey. And this changes everything, because when you feed wet food daily, your cat's body finally stops compensating. Hydration levels rise quickly. Internal systems start working more efficiently. Waste becomes easier to process and remove. And here's where it gets interesting. This doesn't just affect one system. It affects everything connected to it. Kidneys, bladder, circulation, even energy levels. But most owners never notice this shift happening because it's happening internally, quietly, consistently, until one day you realize your cat just seems better. But that's only the beginning. Because the next change is one you'll start noticing much faster. 2. Their metabolism begins to shift in a way most people don't expect. Why do so many indoor cats gain weight, even when their owners swear they're not overfeeding? It doesn't make sense at first. Same portions, same routine. But slowly, the weight creeps up. And here's the truth most people never hear. It's not just about how much your cat eats. It's about what their body is built to process. Dry food is loaded with carbohydrates. Some formulas go as high as 40% or more. But cats, they're obligate carnivores. Their bodies are designed for protein, not carbs. So when they eat carb-heavy food every day, their system struggles to use it efficiently. Instead of burning it, it stores it as fat. And this is where everything starts to shift. When you introduce wet food daily, you're lowering those carbs significantly. At the same time, you're increasing protein and moisture, and that combination does something powerful. It stabilizes their metabolism. Your cat starts using food the way it was meant to be used. Energy becomes more efficient, fat storage slows down, and fullness actually lasts longer, which leads to something most owners don't expect. They naturally start eating less, not because you restricted them, but because their body finally feels satisfied. But here's where it gets surprising. This doesn't just affect their weight. It affects how they behave around food itself. 3. Their relationship with food completely changes. Does your cat act like they've never eaten before, even right after finishing a meal? Following you around, meowing constantly, waking you up early. It feels like endless hunger. But what if that's not what it is? What if your cat isn't hungry? Just unsatisfied. Dry food digests quickly. It's low in moisture and lower in protein compared to wet food, which means the I'm full signal doesn't fully activate. So your cat keeps searching, looking, waiting for something that actually satisfies that instinct. But here's what happens when you switch to wet food. The higher protein content sends stronger signals to the brain. The moisture adds physical volume to the meal, which stretches the stomach just enough to activate fullness cues. And this changes everything. Your cat eats and then stops thinking about food. No pacing, no begging, no constant searching, just calm. But here's the part most people miss. This calm behavior is a sign of something deeper. It means their internal system is finally aligned. But there's another external sign that shows this change even more clearly. And once you see it, you can't ignore it, for their appearance starts revealing what's happening inside. Have you ever seen a cat with a coat that just looks perfect, soft, smooth, almost glowing? And then others that look dry, dull, or constantly shedding. Most people think it's grooming or genetics, but that's only part of the story. Your cat's coat is one of the most honest reflections of their internal health. When nutrition is off, the coat shows it first because the body prioritizes survival over appearance. But when you feed wet food daily, something shifts. The higher quality animal proteins and natural fats start reaching the skin and fur more efficiently. Hydration improves skin elasticity. Nutrients stop being rationed and start being used properly. And within weeks, you start seeing it. Softer fur, less shedding, less dryness. That rough texture, it begins to fade. And this is where it gets interesting, because this visible change is just the surface. It's proof that deeper systems are improving too. But there's one area where things don't automatically improve, and this is where most owners make a mistake. 5. The hidden downside that depends entirely on how you do it. So far, wet food sounds like the perfect solution. Better hydration, better metabolism, better behavior, better coat. So why doesn't everyone just switch completely? Because there's a detail most people overlook, and this is where things can quietly go wrong. Wet food is different, not just nutritionally, but physically. The moment it's exposed to air, it starts changing. Bacteria begins to grow, slowly at first, then faster. And unlike dry food, it doesn't stay stable. This creates a problem for a lot of cats, especially grazers. Cats that eat a little, walk away, and come back later, because that second visit might not be safe, even if the food looks fine, even if it smells normal. Bacteria doesn't announce itself, and this is where many owners accidentally cause issues without realizing it. The safe window is short, about 1 to 2 hours. After that, it needs to be removed, not saved, not left out, discarded. And any unused portion needs to be sealed and refrigerated immediately. But even that introduces another issue. Cold food, straight from the fridge. Cats don't naturally respond to it, because in the wild, their food is warm, fresh, body temperature. So when it's cold, it feels unnatural to them, and they may hesitate, eat less, or reject it entirely. The fix is simple: warm it slightly, just enough to bring it closer to natural conditions, and suddenly their interest comes back. So what does all of this really mean? Feeding your cat wet food every single day isn't just a small upgrade, it's a complete shift in how their body operates. From hydration to metabolism to behavior to appearance. Everything begins to align with what they were built for, but the outcome depends on one thing: how you do it. Because the same habit can either improve your cat's life or quietly create problems if done the wrong way. Get the details right, and you're not just feeding your cat. You're finally giving their body what it's been expecting all along. And once you understand that, you'll never look at their food bowl the same way again.